Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of That's Our Take. I really appreciate you joining here at this channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel to get more content, because that's what this is.
There it is.
There it is. Winking the gun. Careful. Summerfest started today.
Did it? Really?
Today's the first day of Summerfest.
Wow.
Yup. So that's pretty exciting, I suppose, to some people who give a shit.
That's cool.
I was looking up at headliners for the next week and stuff like that, and pretty much the same from that episode we did about the headliners of Summerfest. Not anything that I'm really interested in.
Nothing impressive, no.
No, man, nothing really impressive. Not even in the amphitheater, you know?
Yeah.
Summerfest is just, it's dying. It's dying. It's dying.
Rest in peace, Summerfest 2019.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it lasting 2 or 3 years, and either there's going to be a huge major overhaul, or it's just going to be like, sorry.
Well, they're already trying their overhaul. They got all these new stages, and
That's true. That's true. They did a lot of construction after last season.
yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder how the new Pfizer Forum competes with the Summerfest. If they have any lineups during that week, or if they just say, "Hey, we'll let you guys have it."
I don't know. I mean, the Bucks are done playing, so I mean that whole thing's over actually. So that
Yeah.
wouldn't be affecting it.
I just meant like headliners going
Right.
there, musical talent.
Metallica coming to the Pfizer.
Right.
I don't know. I have no idea. This morning I grabbed my 2 6-sided dice from that I got in Vegas, and I rolled it to see what kind of day I was going to have, and I rolled a 7,
Okay.
which I think is good.
I don't know what the scale is.
Well,
Is there a
right.
conversion chart?
There's a conversion chart. It's actually only written in Hungary. What do they speak in Hungary?
Hungarian?
Thank you. It's written from Hungary in Hungarian. So you know you got to do it. It doesn't translate exactly to English. I guess where I'm getting at. No, anyway, so I rolled the dice. I got a 7, and I was like, okay, lucky number 7, right? That's a thing.
You would think.
You would think.
Not in Hungary,
And
though, right?
well, I don't know. I don't know anything about Hungarian culture or their, beliefs and stuff like that. So
Okay.
maybe 7 is like the devil
Right.
in Hungary.
Speaking of the devil,
Speaking of,
I went to a fast food place and I ordered some food, and the total came out to $666. And
shit.
the cashier, when she was about to repeat it back, she goes, "All right, your total comes to $666. I'll see you at the window." I was like, "Oh my god!" I just freaked her out.
did she really say that?
Yeah, she freaked out. It was weird.
Oh my God.
But this Hungarian scale,
Yeah.
it's 7 out of what? How many?
Well, out of 12,
Okay.
2 6-sided dice, the highest you can get is 12.
Okay, so the
Right.
higher the number, the better of a day you would have.
Well, no, I think I was, when I rolled it, I was basing it loosely off of craps rules.
Okay.
Yeah, so a 7 or 11 is a win. That's a good day.
Okay.
But if I roll a 2, a 3, or a 12, it's not a good day.
Okay.
Right, and anything in between is just same shit, different day.
Okay.
Roll again. Wake up
Okay.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a 7. What did your day turn out like?
My day turned out to, I got to work. Yesterday, I was coming back from lunch. I pulled into my work's parking lot, and my serpentine belt snapped on my car, shredded. I was turning in, and all of a sudden I lost power steering, and it felt like someone was yanking the wheel the other way as I'm making a hard left. Felt like someone was yanking the wheel. I was like, Jesus, take the wheel, knock it off. I'm trying to drive here. And so I
slapping Jesus'
Yeah.
hand.
It really felt like someone was pulling. I looked for hands. I'm like, what the fuck is in this? What the hell? I lost power steering, and then I finally park, and then my battery light comes on because obviously my alternator wasn't being charged suddenly.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I park it, turn it off, and open up the hood, and I looked, and yeah, the belt was totally shredded.
Wow.
So there's this shop across the street from us, and they got this sign with their phone number, and I was like, it's a sign, right? Called them up, He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah. Let me finish up some stuff. I'll walk over and I'll see what's up."
Mm-hmm.
Cool, thanks. So I go back to work, and then he comes over about 2 hours later, gets my keys, walks outside. I was on the phone, so I couldn't even talk to him.
Yeah.
So he got my keys, and then when I was done, I went outside. He goes, "Yeah, it's pretty shredded. Don't exactly know what broke, but something broke." And I was like, "All right, man, cool." And he goes, "Yeah, so tomorrow, if you want, I can come over here. I'll grab the car from you, take it across the street, and fix it." I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yeah, yeah, dude, do that."
Yeah.
I was so appreciative. This dude was like above and beyond. It was so cool. It still costed a bunch of money. It was like $140.
Oh, it's not too bad.
I guess not. I guess not. That's what my boss said.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. I was like, but I went and bought the belt for $21. So the $140 was, I guess, you gotta take the wheel off. You
Yeah.
gotta pull out that weather guard paneling, and then you gotta use your tool to. And then
Okay.
he said most of the time was him cleaning out the bits of the belt from all the other shit
Oh.
because it's just shredded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So something snapped. I don't know on what. He didn't say on what snapped, but one of the pulley things. There's like two bigger round things like a yo-yo, and then the belt's in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those sides broke, and that's what caused the belt to kind of slide off and just shred.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was super nuts. Wasn't expecting it at all, but it happened. Now it's fixed. So then tomorrow he's gonna come over to my work, grab my car, take it back, do an oil change.
Oh, wow.
Yep, return customer.
Nice. Absolutely. Takes care of you once.
Yeah, yeah. So that's probably where I'm just gonna get my shit done from now on.
Yeah.
It's across the street from work. I ain't gotta take time off, especially if he'll come get the car for me.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You can write him up a policy the next time he's in.
Maybe I'll try.
Like, are you getting all of your insurance needs
Right,
met right now?
right. And then he'll say, "I'm actually still under my dad's policy, man." my neurologist and my mechanic guy had this same guy. Same guy. One's moonlighting as the other.
He's finishing his last year of residency.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. I got to keep that side hustle going. He comes into operating and he's all covered in oil and shit.
I don't know what happened, man.
I swear I was scrubbing my hands for like a day. Yeah, so that was pretty fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that sucked, but it all worked out in the end, I suppose.
So I guess rolling the 7.
Good.
Good.
It came, fixed
7.
my shit. Cheaper than I guess it was expected to be by other folks who have paid to have shit done on their car.
Yeah.
When something breaks in my car, I'm just like, oh, it still runs. I'll just keep doing that.
Right.
But
Turn up
this-
the radio a little bit louder.
Yeah.
That'll be fine.
Yep. Yep. Duct tape.
Yeah.
I don't know how many windows of mine I've duct taped up. Every Pontiac I've owned, that's for sure. That's for sure.
That's terrible.
That's the truth. Every Pontiac car I've owned, whether it's a Grand Am or Grand Prix, 97 or 07, window breaks. So, no, I had a 04. I had a 04 Grand Am, 07 Grand Prix.
I kind of remember some of those vehicles because
Yeah.
it would either have the duct tape on it
Mhm.
already or the remnants of the duct tape from the previous
On
time.
the window, yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gold one for sure. That was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
That was a mess. That was the one where Zach's dad, my heater blew, so he wired up some crazy shit to you flip a switch underneath the passenger part where their feet go, flip the switch and the heater's full blast, or turn it off and it's off.
Oh,
Yeah. So at least I had heat in the winter.
that's a creative workaround. That's pretty cool.
It was. Yeah. Because I thought I went and bought the part, but then something was wrong with the control panel
Mm-hmm.
thing. I don't know if it was a fuse or wires or something, but yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mr. Patchett helped me replace the distributor on my Chevy Blazer.
Sure.
Yeah, super cool.
Sure. Yeah, we didn't really have. I mean, we had dads, but
Mhm.
not like come watch me change the oil dads. You know?
Right,
Not at all like that.
right.
So it was good to have him around.
Yeah,
Zach taught me how to change the oil in a car,
nice.
100% in his garage. He
Good skills to have. Just
Yeah.
any sort of little bit of this, little bit of that.
Yeah,
It all helps.
it does. I mean, I haven't done it since.
But you know how to do it.
I know how to do it, but I'm just more comfortable to be like, I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You get to a point where in your life where you're able to pay someone else to take care of it for you, because the time it would take you, and then the oil disposal
Yeah,
or
oil
anything
disposal.
else.
I don't
You're
have the tools to take an oil
right.
filter off, so yeah, yeah. So that's just kind of what I am. I myself am an NPC in my own game. But aren't we all in one sense or another, though?
Whoa. Yeah, man.
We are.
Yeah.
We are all the NPC of somebody else's life simulation,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just what we are.
Mm-hmm.
Our game is what our job is as our NPC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Whether you grind it out for the XP hardcore and then you chill out later in life and everything's kind of easy for you because it doesn't level up
Right.
with you,
Right.
or you go slow pace and you move on to the next area when you gain enough XP just to do so.
Yeah.
And then everything's still hard and challenging, but getting through it is part of the point.
Yeah.
Boom. So if you feel down on your luck at all and you think, wow, I don't have anything left in me to give, just think about it, man. Press pause, first of all. Rearrange your inventory.
Save the game first. You don't want to.
Save the game. Save the game. Press pause. Rearrange your inventory and just take a deep breath. Get up, walk away from the screen for a minute. Come back with a fresh mind,
Yeah.
Go at this puzzle not from the front. Walk around the side, motherfucker.
Yeah. Sneak up on the puzzle.
Sneak
Surprise
up-
it.
Right. Right. The puzzle being just everyday life.
Right.
Yeah. Something is making sense here to some people, I bet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It is.
Some people got lost at NPC, but hey.
But then this rant wasn't for them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you feel about aliens, man?
Ooh, little green guys or gray guys?
No,
Are they
I mean,
fallen
like,
angels or?
Oh, that's a
But-
good one.
Are we talking about illegal aliens?
Nope.
No. Oh, separate.
Well, I mean, technically, I guess if an alien came and crash landed on the planet, we would immediately deem it an illegal alien.
Right. We
I mean,
toss
it
them
didn't
in.
go through customs.
Right. Yeah.
So technically, I suppose an extraterrestrial would be an illegal alien.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't think about that.
Can you imagine our first interactions with aliens? Be like, hey,
Ice goes and picks him up and throws him in a cage in the desert.
papers, please. Yeah.
Too real. Too real.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean about potential visitation from other planets, whether
Mhm.
super long ago, maybe currently, hollow Earth, flat Earth, lizard men,
Mm-hmm.
all those crazy things. Too much to think about, but it's fun to think about those.
Yeah. There's some validity to some of those. There's pieces of it that you can grasp onto and
Right.
has some factual basis to it.
Right.
Other ones kind of make you take a leap of faith in a sense where you really have to expand on it and kind of go down that rabbit hole, I guess. But,
Mhm.
there's some truth to some of it. It's interesting.
I mean, there's also some that you're just like, you know what? I've given up on logic. I've given up
Mhm.
on any sort of belief that anything anybody else has said in history is correct. I'm just going to go with it. Flat earthers. Yeah.
About that, what does that mean? Oh, like like you're just
Those
disregarding all facts?
Yeah.
Or, okay,
Those motherfuckers
okay.
that say the earth is flat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just shut up, dude. It's
Mhm.
not. It's not. I'm sorry. The earth is not flat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. The earth is as flat as my belly. That's not very flat.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty round.
Yeah.
Corpulent, some might say.
Sure.
I'm not corpulent.
I'm going to have to Google that when I get home. And
It
this
means
episode is
round.
released. Okay.
It means round.
Okay.
Yeah, for those of you that don't want to Google it. The only reason I know the word corpulent means round is because of the Super Mario Brothers movie starring John Leguizamo and that other guy that played Mario.
Mm-hmm.
They used the word once in the movie. And I was like, oh, yeah, corpulent. It means
Yeah.
round, very round. When they're talking about that red lady with the spikes and the booster boots.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the dance club.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that movie, relevant. What were we talking about? Aliens, man.
Lizards. Yeah.
Lizard people.
Yeah.
You think about that hollow earth, like they live in they live underground in these crazy colonies, and
I don't know. I don't know. I think those are two separate ones. The Hollow Earth is its own thing, and then lizard people are its own thing. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh well.
yeah.
I think as ridiculous as they both sound, it'd make more sense if they were together.
Right? Yeah, yeah. The lizards and the aliens all hang out in the Hollow Earth, the Hollow Flat Earth.
Yeah.
With
Right. It's a flat, but it's flat. It's a cube. The Earth is not a sphere; it's a cube. So it's flat on all six sides, but there's still a hollow center.
Oh,
How about that?
interesting. Yeah.
How about that? And each face of the cube is a different dimension, right?
Yeah.
There we
Okay.
go.
On.
So you go off of R and you go there, and when we see things that might be a glitch in the Matrix type shit, deja vu, ghosts, aliens, stuff like
Mhm.
that, it's really just a little bit of one side bleeding through, mesh into the other, because the fourth dimension, man, you can see the back of my hand because it's three-dimensional, right? But in the fourth dimension, you can see the front of my hand, right?
Right.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
So if the Earth is a cube, that's all it is. Just peeking into the other sides, the other faces of this cube, dimensions, and that, boom, solved it.
There you go. I think you're onto something.
Yeah, I think I'm on something too.
I'll have what he's having.
No, man, I watched this Netflix thing.
Mhm.
Bob Lazar,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a guy who in the late 80s, early 90s, basically came out public saying that he had worked at a secret military base. He was like a physicist. He was a mathematician, super smart dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his job was, he was hired by the military, the government, to come into this secret place, and they had 9 spacecrafts,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Smaller, like 50 feet in diameter type shit.
Mm-hmm.
Spacecrafts. Some discs, some other things. They were
Mhm.
all different shapes and stuff. His job was to come in and reverse engineer the propulsion system.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of goes in length about this object that they had in the craft
Mm-hmm.
that, I forgot how they said they turned it on, but basically it generated gravitational fields,
Mm-hmm.
waves. And they didn't know at the time that gravity was waves. They had no idea, because this was back in the early 90s and stuff, or they had just found out that gravity was waves and it wasn't something else. I can't even remember. Obviously, I'm not a scientist. So yeah, basically this thing that they had generated gravitational waves and forced them downwards and created this field around it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this I've actually heard on other, like, everything on the History Channel now is nothing but ancient aliens,
Right.
and the Discovery Channel now is nothing but storage and fucking neckbeard dudes and camo, and
Yeah.
that's all it is now.
Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah,
I think
Honey
that's
Boo-
off the air
right,
now. Thank
right.
God.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, so I used to watch a lot of Ancient Aliens and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that shit just seems like really stupid. Just like, come on, okay, like, no.
It's kind of a reach, you think?
A lot of it's a reach,
Oh.
but on one of them, they're talking about how the way the propulsion would work, and this had nothing. Maybe this guy got it from Bob Lazar from back in the early '90s and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But the way the propulsion would work is it was create this gravitational waves emitting from this thing.
Mhm.
The machine found a way to harness it. You could direct it, and it
Mm-hmm.
would create this force field around the entire craft, basically,
Mm-hmm.
that would negate inertia.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going 1,000,000 miles a second, you can go from here to there, and your body isn't feeling the G-force
Mm-hmm.
that it would from the Earth's gravity, because it has that field around it, repelling it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just super weird the way he explained it. And it kind of, I mean, even I know nothing about physics or gravitational waves, but it kind of made sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was actually kind of weird, that stuff. And he had just a lot of really crazy specific stuff, and like, obviously, like, it was like they didn't give us full free reign on anything like that. They had everything compartmentalized. There was 2 people teams assigned to. You look at the propulsion. You look at how it drove. You look at the metal it's made out of. Stuff like
Right.
that. And so he was just kind of went on to this, and he's a real
Mm-hmm.
popular person. And then the government basically shit on his life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone he knew was audited by the IRS immediately. They started erasing his birth certificate from places. They tried saying
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't a student at Harvard or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
where he obviously went to school. And then anybody that would say, "Oh yeah, I knew Bob Lazar in Harvard. Like we went to school together, and
Mm-hmm.
we worked here together."
Mm-hmm.
And then those people would immediately IRS audits just ruin their fucking life. I mean, that's the
Wow.
worst thing that can happen to, you know, an adult kind of thing, an IRS audit kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they would do that shit. He found out because he gave consent for the military to tap his wires
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, I'm gonna go work on this super high secret project. Yeah, okay, you can tap my phone. Well, he found out through them because he kind of went public a little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
they called him back in, and then they read the transcript of his wife having an affair, and she was talking with the other guy
Mm-hmm.
over the phone, and they were reading it to him just after he went public, and then the government's like, "Fuck you, dude, you're done."
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty crazy. His story is pretty great. It's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Lazar, UFOs, and something like that. I don't think the word aliens is actually in it. Because that's not really what it's about. It's not
Yeah.
about aliens. It's just about that the government has 9 extraplanar spacecraft
Mm-hmm.
that they test. And he's talking about like on Wednesday nights, because that was the least air traffic, the least busy in Vegas and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they would do their tests of it, where they would fly it super high and super fast and stuff like that.
Okay.
Otherwise, they would just lift it up in the air and prove that it can fly, and then they'd set back down and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And since Roswell, basically, and there's been several other than that, he said one of them or several of them were actually discovered in archaeological digs.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So even if you buy into any of this shit, hearing that, you're just like, oh my gosh, really? An archaeological dig?
Mm-hmm.
So it's ancient. It's not just a, you know, construction site found it buried under a foot of earth. It was an archaeological dig.
Right.
So that's even more intense. So
Gives it
how
more.
old was it?
Right.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what the changes were if the crafts are real and from certain time periods, what technology they used
The microchip.
as they advanced. You know,
That's what he said.
like how do you explain this massive growth in technology?
Exactly
You
that.
know, the microchip. You know, information being stored on a grain of sand. I mean, it's
Exactly.
just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, back in '69, we went to the moon on what, 500 megabytes, half a gig, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much computer storage and data that they had
Mm-hmm.
were running everything. A
Mm-hmm.
giant warehouse full of computers connected to each other. Like
Mm-hmm.
they got to the moon on that, basically.
Right. Supposedly.
Supposedly.
Right. I'm just because it's we're touching on conspiracies.
We're
So I gotta
touching
throw
on
it
it.
out there.
That's fair. If you even want to call it a conspiracy, I think you just want to call it a guy's story about something that is totally reasonable.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, just because it's labeled as a conspiracy doesn't mean that there's a bunch of evil people plotting it, or doesn't mean that it's crazy or just
Right.
wacky right off the bat.
Sure.
That was invented by the CIA. That was an actual
Conspiracies?
yeah,
Sure.
the conspiracy theorist. Yeah, to
Sure.
try and demean anyone who brings that up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of people kind of wear it proudly now. They're like, oh yeah, you can call me that. That's no problem. I think it's more important just question everything. You can't just, everyone's just drinking the Kool-Aid going along, and they don't stop to question.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest issue.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And not even just about, conspiracy theories, about
Mhm.
literally everything that's going on in the world.
Anything that happens in your life, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, because shit's getting crazy right now
Yeah.
with the world.
Yeah. I mean, Hong Kong's protesting. France has been protesting.
Yeah.
Limited airstrikes on Iran. I mean, they've
Yeah,
been
you got
pushing
some
for
asshole trying to go to fucking war with Iran right now for no
Mhm.
fucking reason.
that. Mm-hmm.
Oil.
Right. And, control of the money supply.
Right. Right.
They got the list of the countries that weren't owned by a central bank. And then, suddenly we gave them freedom over there in those specific countries. Just
They
weird
need
how
some
that.
freedom.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how, like, when we call out a country on something like, oh, we need to free those people over there, and then like a week or two goes by, and then suddenly, Syria's government is like gassing people, like, oh wow, that's coincidental.
Right.
You know, someone makes comments about Iran and being a terrorist hotbed, and then suddenly they all of a sudden attack like a Japanese
Some oil tanker or
some oil
something.
tanker. Like that's just
And then they shot
that's
down a drone.
right.
That was our cause for war for a
That's,
day.
which is crazy.
They shot down a robot that had no business being there.
Right, but I think it was the U.S. military that shot down an Iranian civilian commercial airplane back in the 70s.
Probably.
Yep, yep,
I wouldn't put it past any of them.
yeah.
Same thing happened with Vietnam. They had a bunch of military ships near the area where they shouldn't have been to provoke an attack.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck away. And then all of a sudden, oh, war!
Yep,
And that's the theory of that's exactly what's happening now.
yep.
We're moving more ships into whatever sea it is that's by Iran and stuff
Mm-hmm.
so that we can have a battle station kind of point
Mm-hmm.
and trying to provoke an attack. And those guys are going to be sacrificed so that
That
rich
way-
people can get richer.
Right, that way we're the good guys. We were like,
Yeah.
oh, we were just defending ourselves.
Yeah,
Like, how many times are they going to play this out that we just
right.
blindly follow along? You know,
Well, it's been 20 years.
it's still happening. It's
Yep.
crazy.
Yep.
I mean, but that's exactly what Hitler did to Poland. They had their own troops dressed up in, I think it was Russian attire,
Right.
and then I can't remember which one. Don't quote me on it, but that did happen.
They went and took over a town, took over a radio station, started
Mhm.
screaming about the Russians attacking,
Mhm.
and then Germany invaded.
Yep, absolutely, and that's what's called a false flag.
Yeah.
That was, that's an actual thing.
Right.
Just meaning that you create a situation, blame it on someone else. It's deflect and project always with
Yeah.
these sort of things.
Yeah, with a lot of things.
Yeah. Gets you right in the feels.
It does because, well, thankfully, I think I'm too old and my medical records would disqualify me from being drafted.
Yeah, I think 27 is the cutoff, maybe.
Cool.
Yeah.
So whatever, fuck it. Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, not my kids, or whatever. That's
Well, not their kids, not
Right.
the ones that actually declare this shit. Their kids ain't going nowhere.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just really sad to see this perpetual war that's going on under this, disguise of,
War on terrorism.
War on terrorism, absolutely. And, we're just letting a lot of our liberties and freedoms be sacrificed in order to have security
Yeah.
and safety, but they can't promise security or safety,
No.
And it makes you feel even worse when you believe that maybe they play their own part in it, like the false flags.
Right.
Are they creating these situations in order to, cause a reaction, then come in with their solution? It's sad to see.
It is. It's actually very sad to see. And it's sad to see because you can see through it. Because
right?
it's just constantly repeating the same actions with the same false motives.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes to a point where it's just like, how is nobody stopping this?
Right.
How?
We sometimes we feel helpless, like we
Yeah.
can't do nothing
How
about it.
can
But
we?
how can we? Look at what they're doing all over the world,
Mhm.
protesting. Do a demonstration. But unfortunately, we're not all on the same page
Not
with
all
a
on
lot
the
of
same
things.
page, and I can't take off work Tuesday at 2 to go fucking protest in the middle of a street.
Right.
What am I gonna do?
Right.
It's brilliant, man.
Right.
The-
Keep
the-
them on the rat race. Keep them going.
Yes.
Keep them distracted.
I mean,
We got these phones.
I've never been one to believe in the Illuminati, really,
Mhm.
ever. But the way I see the last 200 years and how we are today,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, fuck, dude, maybe there is some sort of master secret plan to just develop this culture of, for lack of a better word, slaves,
Mm-hmm.
to perpetuate agendas of a few
Mm-hmm.
with the illusion of freedom, the illusion of we vote whoever we want in.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's an illusion.
Yeah.
It's all fake.
Right.
We don't have
Because they control and put forward their own candidates, the
Right.
ones who are already on the
Right.
inside, part of the family.
Right.
That.
And then there will people playing devil's advocate who will argue, but we are the freest country in the world. We're the freest country in the world.
And they've never been to any other country ever, but
Most of
it's the
those
propaganda
motherfuckers.
that we're told.
100%. It's the propaganda. Suppose they'll start with that, and then they'll
Mm-hmm.
go to from the age of 4. It's illegal not to go to school. You have to go to school. You have to
Mm-hmm.
send your kid to school. Kamala Harris is trying to fucking arrest people's parents whose kids didn't go to school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in California, it actually happened a couple times. People were
Oh.
arrested because their kids were truant. And then she was like, "I regret that. That was my bad,
Oh,
guys."
wow.
Yeah, there's people probably still in jail because their kids skipped school, or a single parent with 3 kids and the 16-year-old stayed home rather than
Mhm.
sending him off because who fucking knows if he's going to school. I'm gonna
Right.
keep him home with me. I want to make sure he reads his ABCs and 1, 2,
Mhm.
3s, and then when he's 18, hopefully he gets a job.
Mm-hmm.
But no, she goes to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one thing, the
Right.
illusion of freedom kind of thing.
Right.
We're the freest country in the world. You get to go to school
Mm-hmm.
for 12 years,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're 18. You're still a fucking child,
Mm-hmm.
and then they throw you into this mosh pit of everybody reaching for the dollars that are hanging above their heads.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
they're just
what it
dangling
is.
the carrot in front of you.
Exactly.
Trying, everyone's
Yep.
trying to get ahead in a sense. So.
Yeah. Oh, you got to be quicker than that.
Right.
So it's kind of like that, And then they say they say the illusion, the propaganda, like you said,
Mhm.
of us being the greatest, the wealthiest, the strongest, the smartest, yeah, right,
Yeah.
nation in the world, the most free and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like I can see the illusion. I definitely see it. At 16, you get to get your driver's license, and then if your parents are lucky or you're working, you can buy a car. You
Mhm.
can't build your own car.
That would be illegal.
That's illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can learn how to grow crops and stuff like that, but you can't actually farm in your backyard or collect rainwater. That's illegal.
Right.
Why? Because it's self-sustaining and you're not perpetuating this whole motion, this train in motion. But you think about this train in motion and we're just fucking, the wheels spinning, spinning, spinning.
Mhm.
Where is this train going? It's not
Right.
even about who's driving this train.
Right. We got to stop. We got to stop and take a breath. We got to think about this. What's going on? I mean, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
you watch this episode maybe if you have a chance to follow through on it, and at the end you're like, that was interesting. Time to go to bed because I got to go to work tomorrow, and then you forget about it.
Exactly.
You don't let it sink in. You can't take a moment to think.
You really can't. You
You
can't
know?
take a moment to just stop, inhale, exhale, and let your mind just really wander.
Right.
The reason I think for that, and this is totally separate, but the reason for that is that everybody, I think the reason that we blindly latch on to this
Mhm.
propaganda that we see
Mhm.
is because we're so afraid of dealing with our inner shit.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to deal with our inner shit, our real deep feelings that we don't even
Right.
say to the mirror. When those
Right.
feelings pop into our shower thoughts, we quickly throw them away so we can talk
Mhm.
about some sort of oven mitt that, tells you exactly what temperature something is when you pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
Patent pending. So, we push that shit aside. I feel like if everybody was able or willing to just try and deal with our own personal thoughts and stuff, we would break down that wall that
Mhm.
we've all built up. Everybody, myself, you, your mom, your grandma, my aunt,
You're like
just
your
whatever.
mom, call me.
and it's just like if people were able to,
Mhm.
I don't know if it's willing. I mean, everybody wants to be less stressed, right?
Right. Right.
But it's just you don't have that time.
Yeah. It's when they take that moment and they start to consider that being a possibility, as soon as they fathom that and they're like, okay, that could be possible, but then that leads them into the next part where that makes them uncomfortable, where if this happened, then that means this isn't true and this
Yeah.
isn't true,
Yeah.
and then that's just it messes with your mind.
Yeah.
You're like, well, because all those things change at once, you're not willing to accept that.
Mhm.
You can't, your brain can't handle it.
Yeah.
And you just shut it down. You're like, well, I don't want to think about that because that's
Yeah.
too uncomfortable.
I've done it.
You know?
Everybody has. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like playing Jenga with the fundamentals of who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to flick those fuckers out until
Mhm.
you're that empty, that like hole-ridden kind of shell that's just about to
Mhm.
tip over, but that's okay
Right.
because then you got all that shit out, and then you have all this room for new thoughts, new experiences, and you don't really latch on to that propaganda anymore because that's not what makes you feel fulfilled.
Right.
because
Right.
you've already dealt with that shit that's just layering that icing, that plastic icing over. And
Right.
I've been doing this a lot.
You're just seeing through the bullshit now.
Yeah.
Like, that propaganda doesn't latch on, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new perspective. It changes your mindset completely, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And when you're and then you become the minority
Right.
in that
You
and
feel like the outcast
you
because you're
are.
like, if you're thinking something that isn't repeated
Yeah.
on mainstream or whatever,
Yep.
or your own beliefs, then you're the outsider.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a lot more people who are coming around to that form of thinking. I mean, even
Yeah, but then those are the people that say get woke. You know what I mean?
sure,
So those people who like to pretend that they're a little bit more enlightened are again just enveloped in a different form of propaganda. It's not
right.
coming from Fox, CNN, or ABC, whatever. It's coming from this.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming from Facebook, the algorithms from
Mm-hmm.
Facebook and
They're
YouTube and
telling
Google.
you, the Facebook is showing you exactly what you need,
Yeah.
what they want to show you.
Yep.
They even did tests on, if we show this test group of people a positive story and positive things in their timeline,
Right.
how does that affect it when it's negative, or they can suppress certain news stories or topics,
Oh, they do, and yeah,
you
absolutely.
know?
Nothing. When's the last time you saw an independent news source on Facebook, YouTube, or Google?
Rarely ever. It's all been pushed out. It's all being censored
Yep,
now. I
it's being
mean,
centered.
I know, like, maybe 8 years ago, 2011, 2012, everyone's like, download this stuff. Be careful. Like, any conspiracy channels or things like
Yeah,
that, they're like, hey, this information is out there now. It's free and available, but mark my words, in 10 years it won't be. And now we're seeing that come to head now.
yeah.
YouTube channels are being censored, videos are being taken down, and they're it's under the veil of safety or protection, or we don't allow racist comments, or just negative
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and they're grouping all these things together and just shutting them all down.
Yeah,
It's just it's really terrible.
they are.
You don't Everything is just mainstream media owned by six companies,
Yeah,
and those six companies own 1,000 of their own companies.
yep,
There's this illusion of choice, but it
exactly.
all goes to the same exact people.
Right,
I mean, we're supposed to have antitrust laws, monopoly laws to
right,
prevent that. But how are we having all these mergers, all these huge mergers, Disney and Fox, and you
right,
know,
right. Because the people who are supposed to prevent it are getting rich off of it. So what the fuck do they
they're
care?
they're yeah, they're being voted into or appointed to office.
Appointed, yeah.
Um, they call that regulatory capture, when you
Right.
have people who are in the corporations that worked for it now go into the government to create
Sure,
the new laws.
sure.
Well, of course, they're going to make things easier for their
Right.
you know
Deregulate certain things and stuff like that.
regulate other companies so that there's less competition.
Yeah,
You know,
totally,
you know,
absolutely. It's upsetting, man, when you start to get a whiff of that, and then you just kind of follow your nose a little bit, and instead of a pie sitting on a windowsill, it's just a it looks like a pie. When you bite into it, it's just an aluminum can painted to make it look nice and chip your teeth, but there's a card to the dentist inside.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's how they get you.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Point being, it's all an illusion. Once you, I feel like once you get a taste of one small conspiracy, just I feel like we just have to look at what we can see and hear, what we can observe. Like, we need to go back to our original scientific hypothesis, where what do you observe, what do you see? Does that line up with what you're being told?
Right.
And I feel like a lot of the times it's not adding up.
No, no. If you take the time to critically think about it,
Right, right,
but nobody got that time.
Right.
And nobody got time for that.
right. It's tough. You gotta have some time. You gotta spend many restless nights watching YouTube, going down the next suggested video
Right.
of this next thing, and
Yep.
corruption, and doesn't have to get crazy. Just follow a little bit of corruption story and see how bad it gets.
Yeah.
And how far down the line and all across the world that this happens.
Yep.
Panama Papers, great example. 2015, 2014, independent journalists got their hands on this law firm's documents of showing how politicians and billionaires use shell companies to hide their money
Oh,
to
sure.
avoid taxes.
Sure.
So you got all these politicians who are like, the rich need to pay their fair share of taxes, and then all of a sudden their name is brought up on the Panama Papers and they get called out for it. All around the world, people protested, got them out of office, but here in America, we're still
They're getting promoted.
right. We're still drinking Kool-Aid. Yeah, even Trump was on those papers. I mean,
I'm sure.
tons of people are on that, and that's just one small example.
Right.
A lot of the journalists, a couple of them were murdered.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a coincidence. I mean, when you have information is power.
Right.
What people are trying to prevent that from coming out?
Right.
Why is it? Why
Right.
would they go to the extent of murdering someone?
Right.
And then you see sudden suicides.
Yeah.
Shot 2 times in the head. Coroner called it a suicide. Excuse me?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Watch yourself.
Watch yourself.
You got to be
out
careful.
there. Yeah. I mean, who knows? This video might be taken down off YouTube because we said the words Iran.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
And Trump,
Yeah.
and the same thing. That's offensive.
Yeah. Remember that Notre Dame fire
Yeah.
a month or two back?
Yeah.
It was so funny. I guess YouTube was flagging the Notre Dame fire video, just the regular news videos, before anyone was questioning what was going on there.
Yeah.
They were flagging that as a conspiracy video and then suggesting a 9/11 truth video or something of that sort.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big thing. Like
That
YouTube.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's the algorithms, man.
Right.
The AI, they're great, but they're still working on it.
Yeah.
The infancy of that type shit,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's silly. It's stressful. It's
Mm-hmm.
infuriating.
Yeah.
It makes it difficult to get up and do the 9 to 5,
Right.
which is why I know that if the presence of extraterrestrials, that we had their crafts, that we weren't alone in the universe, if they ever visited us Independence Day style, the U.S. would collapse.
Mm-hmm.
It would just collapse in a day.
Mm-hmm.
No, we would either have that moment of half of us would kill ourselves or the other or everybody else, and the other half would just be like, "Huh, I guess it's all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
What do
Right.
I do?"
You also got to be wary of a fake invasion too, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of technology out there to create holograms or
Yeah.
visual effects that could mimic a
Mhm.
alien invasion. So just be aware of that.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep yawning. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. I don't know if you watched the last video, but I did cut myself and threw it in there like 4 or 5 times.
Oh, subscribe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the middle
Cool.
of the conversation. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That was pretty
Like,
fun.
oh, damn! Now we got ads on this video. Dislike.
No, man, shit's just getting crazy, and it's getting harder and harder to stay sane
Mm-hmm.
with it going on. You can't get away from it no matter what you do. Every time I go to youtube.com, is Trump a better president than Obama? Click here to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Trump 2020, learn more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, the fuck is this
I'm
about?
getting Biden
Really?
ads left and
Oh,
right.
apparently YouTube thinks I'm a Republican and Trump supporter.
I was telling you about that last year. I think we did a podcast on it.
About
where-
Facebook saying
about
our affiliation, our political affiliation.
Yeah, Facebook was grouping you into what they believed you were.
Right. Based
You
on your
were
posts, likes, content,
you know,
view, and stuff like that.
very scary with the informational age that we have and
Mhm.
what we're willing to share and what they're deducing from it.
Yeah.
Because now, when you do your little "I voted" sticker,
Mm-hmm.
well, now they have their own exit poll. Now they know exactly who might win. It's the new exit poll. When you say "I voted," and now Facebook is like, well, he's moderately conservative or moderately liberal. They got their own exit poll.
Here's some real basic. Google and Facebook have both denied to Congress that they manipulate what shows up on their sites.
Not true.
Of course it's not true.
Okay.
But they both said that we don't manipulate it.
Mm-hmm.
Basic is this. You can pay both Google and Facebook to have your stuff
Mm-hmm.
intentionally put in front of unsuspecting people based on their likes, media content that they look at more. The
Mm-hmm.
algorithms that Facebook and YouTube and
Mm-hmm.
Google use.
That would be a paid ad specifically, or do you mean more like the organic manipulation
I mean,
where?
a little bit more of the organic manipulation. Like, yes, they can
Okay.
do that where you can pay them to specifically have when you type in blue striped shirt, I could pay
Mm-hmm.
Google to be the first one that pops up. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yep.
So that right there, yeah, that's manipulating the search
Mm-hmm.
engine. Yes, it's paid for. That's how
Sure.
they make their money. Sure, but you can't say that no, we don't manipulate it.
Right.
And then you see the more organic things of
Mm-hmm.
just I'll be talking to you about going trying to trade in my busted ass Cadillac. And then tomorrow, I'm either going to get a text, email, or Facebook about something suggested about how to repair a Cadillac, Cadillac dealers, where people prefer to trade Cadillacs. By the way, I have a 2007 Cadillac SRX for sale.
$1, Bob.
$1. Yeah, that's the
We'll start
highest
the
without
bidding
going
off.
over. Yeah. So it's just, it's so obvious if you just take a moment to look for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It just really is.
Yep.
And eventually, the new conspiracy with 5G and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
where it's not going to be on your phone, it's literally all in here.
Right.
And if you just pay attention a little bit,
Yeah.
you'll see some shit that it's beyond coincidental.
Right.
Beyond
Right.
coincidental.
You know, I can't remember what the saying is. Something about like how many coincidences can you have until you're like, okay, something's going on here.
Right.
You know, like how many coincidences will add up? That's
Right.
crazy.
It is. It's going to be in our dreams eventually, like in
Mhm.
Futurama, where they
Mhm.
just broadcast the ads into your dream. And the next day, you all of a sudden want rocket-powered underwear
Yep.
because, well, whatever.
Right.
And ads show up on your phone. You get people that call you all the time. I mean, calling you, the door-to-door is where it kind of started. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That was the first kind of thing, but that's a lot different than what we're talking about now.
Mhm.
But then you think about, you create a Google account,
Mhm.
Gmail.
Mhm.
You use your Gmail to log into your YouTube account.
Mhm.
And then say you want to create a Facebook, you can just use that Gmail account to log into Facebook.
And vice versa, you can use Facebook to log into any other
Right,
website
right,
too.
right.
Yeah, it's all creating one identity for you.
Yeah.
And that's why so many companies ask for your email. Your
Yeah.
email is what attaches everything to you.
Right.
There's a marketing software that I use that once you provide your email, I can know what web pages of mine you visited, and then Google will tell me
Mm-hmm.
what interests that you have. I don't know your personal info, but I
Right.
know that someone in Delaware was on my site for 3 minutes and 36 seconds, and they're in this category of, you know, they like party planning and they like dogs and, you know, this. So imagine what Google has on you as your own,
Yeah.
just a wide range of services. They know everywhere you've been and go because of Google Maps.
Right.
They know everything that you've sent and received and talk about because they have your email. They know all your subscriptions.
Right.
They save your passwords for you. Thanks, Google. They have all
Yeah.
of that.
Save your credit cards for you too.
Right.
Google Pay.
Right. They have all of your YouTube video search history.
Yep.
They tried social media. God bless their hearts. They didn't succeed
They
in
did
that.
try.
Facebook is on its way out anyways, but
Sure.
the email is like your own, like the IP address. That's
Right.
like your one identifier.
Right.
Look at all these rewards programs that we have, Speedy Rewards, you know, credit cards. They're able to match up an entire digital profile of all your information
Yeah.
and know exactly what you do, where you go, all your habits.
Right.
It's freaky.
It is. It is very freaky. It's disconcerting. And the scariest part is they're doing it with our permission.
We're willingly accepting it.
That's
yeah.
everything that Chris just said. Terrifying, fucking terrifying. But they do it with our permission because we've read the terms and agreements. I got about a paragraph in. I was like, this is actually just gibberish. It's that Latin copy that fills the fucking page.
Yeah.
You know, when you're trying to design shit.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. It's just wow.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I can't read.
It's scary. So I guess I have a little more understanding for people who are like, I'm going completely off the grid. I'm paying cash for things, or like, you know, when someone's watching, doesn't that make you a little uncomfortable? You know, for them to assume,
Depends on what they're watching.
hey, assuming who you are or what you do or what you buy or what you might,
Right.
you know, what you might buy later.
Right.
It's kind of like how Target could more accurately predict a woman's pregnancy
Sure.
based on their previous purchases,
Wow.
better than like a pregnancy kit,
Yeah.
which is crazy. So they know if you buy X, Y, and Z
Yeah.
within this time period, they're going to send you an ad for diapers
Yeah.
within 2 months because they know you're going to be pregnant.
5 years ago, a month before my wife got pregnant, she was receiving formula coupons in the mail. Just randomly happened one day,
How random.
and then it kind of kept happening, and then all of a sudden, someone went and knocked her up, and now I got this kid. Thanks, Google.
Thanks, Google. Thanks, Obama.
Yeah. No, that's true. Though. That's true.
That's crazy.
It was in her mail. She got this like weird parenting magazine with coupons for formula,
Mm-hmm.
and like it had her name on it. It wasn't just like an accidental; like it had her name on it,
Yeah.
and it was just super like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And if we kind of just dismissed it, just like, oh well, marketing. You never know.
Right. Yeah.
You never know. But then, yeah, it was just super weird. We never did use those coupons, but it was weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really weird.
Freaky how much they know about you and how much we share.
Yep.
Even those stupid little Facebook, Facebook posts where it's like, all right, time to time to share your secrets. And they're like, what's your favorite food? What's this? What's your boyfriend's this? What's your that?
Yeah.
That's all information gathering. That is
Absolutely.
not some fun little game we're playing with each other, our
Nope.
friends. That is just information gathering. And it's even worse when we do it for our little kids. So
Yeah.
when they do like, who's the naughtiest of the kids, who's the best listener, who can write the best. That's all information
Yeah.
gathering. They're
Yeah.
all gathering info.
They're using it for quantum computing, is what I've read.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to gather this information on children and people so that they can use their quantum computing calculations and algorithms to, like you said, to what's the word, to not assume but like project what this person actions this person may take, things this person may buy,
Yeah.
the type of lifestyle this child is having growing up, so they can create a marketing profile for this one person. So eventually when the iWatch or whatever this is and your phone becomes not a thing in your pocket but a thing that's actually physically integrated with you, it's just that's what it's going to be when our kids are older. It's just going to be a 16-year-old. You go and get it surgically implanted. You have it for the next 5 years, and you get a new one. You don't have to charge it. It runs off of the white blood cells moving through your veins, creates friction enough to charge it, and then your phone is just something that pops out of your wrist, Spider-Man style, and there's a fucking the hologram of your phone on your thing. You go like this when you're talking to somebody because it's funny, but it works.
And you gotta go like this to hang up.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. No, you just have it there, and then someone's calling you. You shit your phone. Your wrist will just vibrate a little bit. Bzz.
Yeah.
You just go like that, and then hello. How tight would that be? That'd be pretty cool, though.
Would the sensors be smart enough to know when like you're angry and you need to throw your phone against the wall? In a sense, like
You just take your
The-
wrist.
the connected caller has angrily hung up on you.
That would be really funny. I don't even think it would be like that because at that time people would be so fucking numb. You ever seen Wall-E?
No.
Okay, there's the end of that movie. Spoiler. Wall-E is a robot. It's like he's alone on this deserted planet, super like sad and kind of like funny. And then he meets this other robot, and then they're just like, oh hi, you're like a nicer, newer robot. I'm like some trash robot. Let's be friends. So they kind of become friends, and then they find that this world is not at all deserted or blown up or uninhabitable. All the humans just live inside this like giant like Amazon building basically, and they all live on these fucking scooters that are automated, and it just rolls them to the cafeteria, it rolls them to here, and it's just like this big traffic, like a freeway of just people on scooters and shit, buckets of chicken, big gulps next to them. They got like tablets that are just projection holograms in front of them. They can talk on the phone, and chew and pee and shit in the same time. It's disgusting, but it's gonna happen.
I feel like that's just that's a clever way of putting it in our faces of this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Basically, us going through life is this Wall-E movie.
Yep. That's
on
really what it
scooters.
was. Yeah, it was just like, guys, this is what we're becoming.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't stop,
Mm-hmm.
this is what it's gonna happen. I sat on
Yeah.
the couch today for like 5 minutes, just sitting there quietly. My wife
Mm-hmm.
was bugging me about a bunch of shit, but I was relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice.
Yeah.
I didn't have my phone on, didn't have the TV on.
Mm-hmm.
Kid was in bed. I was just sitting quietly, reflecting on my day.
Yeah.
Reflecting on my 30 years of time here on this planet. I only have maybe
Mm-hmm.
30, 40 left,
Mm-hmm.
probably less, because I drive a lot. So you never know,
Yeah.
Shit could happen tomorrow. Am I going to be happy with how life has gone? Not so much.
Right.
But I reflect on it and I'm like, why have I not been happy? How can I change those? And I've made those
Mm-hmm.
changes and implemented and grown a lot, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
you mature as a person. You just reflect on who you were and do better.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's important to disconnect from all the things that we
Yeah.
impulsively want to check and look at and bring up our phone, and you know
Yep.
tells a lot about a person who can put that away, not
Yeah.
even think about it. Sure, you might get reminded of it, but when you're with a group of people, just disconnect from that. You have
Right.
to.
Yeah. Yeah. Those people that go out to dinner and every one of them's on
Mm-hmm.
the phone. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
just younger folks.
Oh, the older folks are way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
They're
know how
caught
many
up in it
fucking
too.
50-year-old people I've honked and screamed at on the freeway because they're driving and they're just like this?
Yes.
Trying to figure out how to text because they're so used to the numbers that they pushed. Or the buttons
Mm-hmm.
are too small now for my thumbs. How am I supposed to do it? I don't get it, Chris. Can you show me?
You're like trying to grab your phone.
How do I do this thing here? Hello?
Sally, I'll call you back.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, man. It's not just young people now. It's everybody.
We have got to pay attention on the road with that, because I see so many people honking at each other, just getting super angry
Right.
because they're all distracted on their phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
It
You
is
know-
crazy.
Something on my list of books that I need to read, 1984.
George Orwell?
Yeah,
Tabitha has it.
awesome. I have seen so many quotes posted from it
Yeah.
that really oh my God, that is what we're living in.
Over the
That
last
is
5 years, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So I need to read that full book to really get the full spectrum of what's going on in the book. I get the premise, I know what it's about, but I really need to dive in there because there's so many great quotes from there that the people won't revolt or riot because they'll be too busy staring at their screens.
Yeah.
Like how true is that?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And the ones that aren't are too busy working.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that have the time to go and protest. Unfortunately, society has told us that those are the people that we're not supposed to listen to.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
We're supposed to look down on them because they don't have a job. Of course, they have time to protest. They're not working.
Uh-huh. And then we listen to that. We're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Shut up. Go fuck
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
How dare you try and make a change?
yeah.
Go back to work.
I mean, if you look at all the things that have changed in the last 50, 60 years, just it's crazy to think about. I mean, everything from the crazy interest rates and inflation that rob us, the middle
Yeah.
class, like you said. It's the new modern slavery where we're kind of taking care of ourselves now, but we're all struggling to get by, just moving the system along
Right.
and along. It's just crazy. The wage theft that has occurred.
Yeah.
Like you used to be able to pay for college on a summer part-time job.
Right.
Nowadays, it's what $4 an hour was back then is $18 an hour now, and that's you just don't see that. Pension, what is that? Retirement
Mhm.
match, unheard of.
Yeah.
Like just less and less benefits.
Yeah, there are still a lot of those companies that offer retirement plans and health
Mhm.
insurance and stuff like that. Like there really is, and some people do really take advantage of them, and some people
Mhm.
don't because they don't get it, or it's like I need my paycheck because,
Mhm.
which is totally legitimate. Like you might need every fucking dollar on your paycheck to survive and live
Mhm.
where you live. I mean, minimum wage. What is minimum wage now? $9
Is it? I thought
federally?
wasn't it $7.25?
Is it still $7.25?
I feel like that might be it. It's weird.
That is too low, man. That can't be the actual thing. But
Yeah.
I guess if that's
And
it, that's why
whatever-
everybody's so pissed.
Whatever argument we have on it, like let's say, okay, minimum wage is meant for kids who are under 18, you're trying to get their first job. Okay, we can have a separate minimum wage just for that, but I wouldn't say it's the regulation of the minimum wage, because just because you guarantee a wage, you can't control the rent prices, you can't control the food prices. I mean, they're all
Right.
kind of intertwined. We just see the top 1% gaining a more a bigger share of the
Yeah.
wealth over and over, as opposed to the bottom half,
Right.
bottom 50%. But
The federal minimum wage in 2019 is still $7.25.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fucked up. 19 years ago, it was $5.15.
Mm-hmm.
So in the last almost 20 years, it's gone up
Mm-hmm.
$2.10
Yeah.
an hour.
Inflation is another thing too, where we don't realize it, but the inflation was created and it was meant for, when the first central bank took over in America. It was inflation was supposed to protect us from recessions. It was like we're going to level out. That way, they're not going to be as hard as the depression. It's going to be different.
Right.
But we still had recession in '08, back in the '80s,
Mm-hmm.
'70s, whatever. Um, Another interesting fact is that the income tax that we pay an income tax, your federal income tax.
Right.
That did not exist before World War II.
Right.
World War II, that tax was implemented to pay off the debts for World War II.
Sure.
Why do we still have it?
Right.
Why is it still there? You
Well,
know?
because we've been in war since then.
Mm-hmm.
We've just been in short times of not unwar
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
rebuild and rebuild.
But it's all
our
going on a
nation.
credit card right now. We're not paying for it.
Right.
We're gonna be paying. Our kids are gonna be paying for that.
Grandkids, yep.
You know, we're putting them in that new modern slavery where
Yeah.
they're indebted to it. Now they have to work to pay off this debt that's never ending. And
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And God forbid they want a college degree.
oh yeah,
So, yeah, you're fucked no matter what.
damn
Team
shame.
America!
Yeah.
Fuck yeah!
Why do I suddenly want KFC? Is there going to be an ad for that later? I wonder. Do they know I want KFC right now?
Yeah.
Some smooth, creamy mashed potatoes.
Minimum 6 people know you want KFC right now.
Absolutely. So like this video if you like gravy.
Yeah.
KFC.
Right. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is not an ad for KFC.
Although we'd be open to it.
We'd be open to any sort of sponsorship. Anybody who's listening.
Coming to you live from the KFC bathroom.
There we go. Oh, next week, I might be going to Summerfest on July 3rd. I'll try to bring Chris with me.
He's trying.
Get some experience and footage for a future episode.
Maybe. Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Oh, Roy.
That'll be fun, mate. That was terrible, by the way.
Yeah.
I am from Britain, mate.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. That's Australian, I think.
Can we do some characters for Summerfest so we don't have to be us? We can be someone
Yeah,
else.
we
you
can be
know.
anybody. You be Adam. I'll be Chris.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
I like it.
totally
yeah.
throw everybody off.
Yeah.
They don't even know that's our take when they watch the video. They'll be like, "Who are these? Who are these motherfuckers?"
Like, take our that. You're like, yeah, that's
Oh,
us.
take our that.
Yeah.
Wow, I should have consulted you before I came up with the name. Whew. Here I am.
Our that take.
Or that take. You hear it heard first.
You heard first, though. Tell about that, brother.
That was intentional. I was being silly. Well, everybody, I hope you like this random rambling of Chris and I. We got into a good conversation there. I think it started with aliens and ended with the fucking military-industrial complex. Put it shit down. I don't want to live on this planet anymore, man. I don't. But I can't go anywhere else.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I can't build a spaceship. That shit's illegal. We're going to get the fuel for that, first of all.
Yeah.
Anyways. So, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like the videos, subscribe to this channel to get notifications. Hit the little bell bing, button next to the subscribe so that you do get notifications whenever we post a new video once a week, maybe. Check out our podcast, currently on Podbean and I think iTunes. It was at one point. It might still be updating every time I post a new one.
Okay.
Same RSS feed, so it should be.
Okay.
But I haven't checked iTunes because I don't have an Apple item. So
Mm.
it's kind of a bitch to download iTunes on a Windows computer and then remember your shit and navigate it. It's made for shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not for the Windows thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's awesome. I don't have a Patreon, I don't think, because I don't need a Patreon. I have a 9-to-5 job and I
Yeah.
make okay money. So
You can just Bitcoin us. You know, we take PayPal, I think.
PayPal, for
Yeah.
sure. If you want to PayPal, if you want to fund That's Our Take for no real reason other than I can take off work tomorrow and not worry about my paycheck suffering, email us at that'sourtake@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to hook you up with where to send that donation. That's ridiculous. So anyways, yeah, we have a Twitter, _our. I don't use it really ever. I think new videos get posted to it. Sorry. I have my own Twitter at AdamMIsCrazy. I made that 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's why it's that.
And I told you earlier how I read it. Adam is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm Miss Crazy. Watch out. I'm like,
Adam
oh,
Miss Crazy.
yeah, sassy.
Yeah, check yourself before I poop on you.
What?
I don't know.
Gotta be honest. You had me at the first half.
Yeah, you took a U-turn to go back. Yeah, that's for sure. All right, folks. So again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, ask us anything you want. Check out our Facebook page. We do have that. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed and have a good rest of your shit.